Hey y'all, MyriaCom here again. Once again, trying to stay consistent. So here's another recording. I do not know what the rest of this week is gonna look like, because it's gonna get cold, and... ugh, I don't think I will want to do a whole lot. That's probably not fair, but whatever. No, I kind of talked to my boss a little bit today and was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna work from home on Friday since it's supposed to be really flipping cold. And she was down with that, so that is my plan at this point. Unless my university randomly decides to cancel because it's so cold. I don't expect that to happen. That would be cool, but I don't expect it, so yeah. Anyway, I already talked about the cold and the weather in my last recording, so we're not going to do that in this recording. In this recording, let's get a little bit existential and talk about the future TM. Okay, not really TM, but I guess one of the things, I was listening to something in the background earlier while I was at work, and it just kind of brought this up and made me think about it, and yeah. I've kind of always, been of the same mind about this, but I guess I've been, over the past year and a half or so, thinking a lot more and digging more into my feelings about things and my thoughts about things, and yeah, when I was listening to this other video in the background, I was just like, oh, let's think about this a little bit more deeply while I'm doing some stuff at work, so here we go. So, I, throughout my life, have not really ever thought that deeply about the future. Now, that's gonna sound insane when you also hear me say that I have always planned for a future. I don't have a you only live once kind of mentality. Don't get it twisted. I definitely, make a lot of decisions planning for a future and saving for a future. However, I don't know what that future looks like, and if anything, because I am a millennial and most of my life has just been, crisis after crisis after crisis, increasingly getting worse, it seems, whatever vision I have of a future is a pretty bleak one, which is probably why I don't have a you only live once. A lot of people that would give them a you only live once mentality, but it does not give me a YOLO mentality at all. It gives me the exact opposite. It gives me the mentality that I have to prepare for the future, because chances are the future is not going to be good, so I need to be as prepared as possible for it. Does that give me a really boring life? Yeah, kind of, because I don't do a whole lot most of the time. And, most of the, if I ever do have a little bit of extra money, it goes in savings, or it goes towards something for the future, and does not go towards things that are happening right now, so I don't go on trips. I don't buy myself the next game console. I don't buy I had to get myself a new laptop last year because my cat spilled something on my laptop. And I had to get a new one. It stopped working. Ta-da. And I got myself the cheapest thing that possible that will still do everything I need it to do. So, my mentality is not get myself the coolest stuff because there is no good future. My mentality is more save as much as possible. I don't do that either. I am not the sort of person who, is overly frugal to the point of kind of borderline, mental illness frugal, where it's an obsession. I'm not like that. However, I don't do a lot of things that are fun or nice for myself because I am trying to save for the future. At the same time, when I was younger, for example, I didn't really think about a future. What I mean by that is I did not, ever really have a dream job that was practical, so I didn't do anything for a dream job. I didn't do anything with a future career in mind. I didn't like I did for a little bit. Like my first major, I changed majors a few times in college, in undergrad. And my first major was teaching. I wanted to be like a high school teacher or something. Um, but the more I went through that year, the more I realized it was not practical because I just couldn't teach within the constraints of the teaching stuff at the time. No Child Left Behind was a thing at the time, and I wrote a paper on it, and I was like, nope, there's no way I can teach within these insane constraints that make no sense. And teaching constraints are even worse in public schools now, so, like, I'm glad I didn't. Also, I wouldn't want to work in a public school right now with the amount of school shootings, etc., that we have, so, yeah. It's not great. So, like, I kind of had a plan, but then not really, and, like, then I was like, okay, I was doing bookkeeping at the time, part-time, so I was like, okay, why don't I go into business? I'll be a business administration and accounting double major. And I definitely could have done that, but I hated everyone in all of my classes. Like, I did not get along with anyone in any of my classes, and I just avoided them outside of class, basically. Um, and I came to the realization that if pretty much everyone in all of my classes are the kind of person I do not like, then I don't want to go into this career and hate everyone I am working with all the time. So then I just changed to English because first of all, people told me it was marketable because degrees in the humanities are marketable. Okay, great, cool. I can have the world is my oyster then. That is not true in the world we currently live in. So just throwing that out there. And then I wanted to go into academia, and I should have done that, but I didn't. But again, I didn't have like a goal in mind at the time. I didn't really have a future in mind. But even going back further, when I was a child, I did not think of a future, really. Especially once I got into like middle school and stuff, I did not think of a future. I just didn't really think I had one. And not in like a I was planning on doing something drastic kind of sense. More just I didn't think about it and it was not something that came to mind. I also pretty much never have had this like I've never had this like desire that a lot of people seem to have to leave my mark on the world. Maybe it's because I am such a practical person, and I, like, not, first, I realized that, first of all, not very many people do leave a lasting mark on the world that lasts longer than, like, maybe 100 years. But, also, like, I always knew I never wanted kids, so I can't leave a quote-unquote legacy in that way by having children, and like, it's just not realistic to assume that me, some person from a little, like, podunk Midwestern town. It's an exaggeration to call it a little podunk town, because it was one of the larger cities in the state in which I live, but, like, it's not big when you talk about, like, the East Coast or the West Coast. Or even the South. It's not like a big city in those regards. It's not like Houston or Minneapolis or New York or Philadelphia or Seattle or any of those places. So, like, I'm just some nobody from some little town in the Midwest. And realistically, I'm never gonna leave a lasting mark anywhere. Like, I can do nice things and try and, like, make people's lives a little bit better around me right now, but that's not, like, a lasting mark on anything. No one's gonna remember my name like 5 years after I'm dead. So, and I'm not saying that in like a depressing kind of way or anything. It's just, I'm just being realistic. I'm just being pragmatic and practical. The reality of the situation is, unless something drastically changes in my life and I somehow, like, become famous or even become semi-famous, like, I don't have the charisma to be a politician, so I'm never gonna be in people's minds in that way. I like, I don't have the time or mental energy to do anything creative that would put my name on the map in any way right now. The most I can say is that, like, I've written some fan fiction people have liked. Woohoo. But does that count as a lasting mark on the world? My real name is not even attached to that, so will anyone ever know? Like, put two and two together? I haven't shared fanfiction in a long time. For all that anyone who has read any of my fanfiction knows, I'm already dead. So, like, it's just kind of crazy. But yeah. I have never really thought about like leaving a legacy or leaving my mark on the world or anything like that. I'm just too practical for that. I'm just like, it's not realistic. The percentage of people in the world, especially with how many people there are now, there's over 8 billion people in the world, and the percentage of that 8 billion people that leaves a lasting impression is not very high. So, I'm just being practical about that. But I wonder if that is weird. I wonder if that is like a weird thing that I do not think about leaving a legacy of some kind. That I don't, like, and that it doesn't bother me. It literally does not bother me if I die and no one notices. I think that's just realistic. First of all, I don't really believe in an afterlife, so I just think you die and then there's nothing. Because, hey, there was nothing before I was born. I do not remember anything from before I was born. So why would there be something after I'm gone? I know that's like a scary thing for people to think about, because you exist now, and thinking about the fact that you might cease to exist at some point is scary. But that doesn't scare me. I think it's more interesting than anything else. But, you know, whatever. It's just hard for me to envision anything existing after all of this, since nothing existed for me before all of this. Why would there be something after if there was nothing before? But anyway, so, like, in my mind, it won't matter to me when I'm dead anyway, because I'll be dead. So, why should it matter to me now? Like, yeah. And personally, I think it puts a lot of pressure on yourself if you are trying to leave a legacy of some kind. Wouldn't you rather just not want to worry about that? Wouldn't you rather just want to live your life for you now and, like, try and make the lives of everyone around you better while you're here? But, like, I don't know. And, like, I want to leave the world a better place as much as I have any impact on that for the people who come after me. But it's not because I want recognition for it or anything like that. I just think that's, like, the right thing to do. I would hope that the people before me had that thought. Although, if you look at generations prior to mine, it kind of seems like some of them did not care that much about leaving the world a better place for people who come after them. It seems like a lot of them just care about themselves. That's a little unfair, but that is my experience and my perception, so, yeah. Like, I feel like people who are worried about leaving their mark on the world in that way, in, like, the my name has to be remembered kind of way, are more interested in it for selfish reasons than for anything else. Like, I don't know. If you think of people like corporate executives and CEOs and stuff who, and like billionaires, for example, why do you need more money? You've got plenty. Why do you have to keep trying to accumulate more? What is the point? You're never going to use all of what you've got. What is the point? Is it just because you think you deserve it more than everybody else? Why? And why do you need it? Again, what is the point? It's just a number on a screen at this point, or a number in a checkbook, or a number in a checkbook makes me sound old. I am old. uh, it's just a number at this point. It doesn't matter. Like, why are you accumulating more of it? Why are you taking more from other people? It's just a selfish thing, right? I mean, what other reason could there be? But, yeah. So, I don't know, I just look at people like that and I'm like, you're only doing this for selfish reasons. It's not to actually make the world a better place. It's because you think your name needs to be remembered. You think you need to be remembered for some reason. Why? Why does that matter in the grand scheme of things? If you destroy the planet in the process of being remembered, then there's no one to remember you anyway. Because the planet's gone. So, oh, it's just kind of ridiculous. I don't get it. I don't understand. But yeah, I also, like I said, wonder if that makes me weird, that it doesn't matter to me, and that it seems like an odd thing to care about, to me. It's sort of the same thing as I have never wanted to live forever. That is not a goal of mine. I don't even necessarily want to live to be as old as possible. Like, life is tough and stressful, and, like, I don't want it to go on for a long time. I, ugh. I have been alive for, I'm not going to say my actual age, over 35 years is what I will say. And that's a long time. It's longer than I ever thought I was gonna live. Like I said, I was never, like, planning to do anything drastic when I was younger, but I also never thought I would get this far. It was just never something that entered my mind as a possibility. And now I'm like, okay, it's been long enough. Can we go? I'm a little bit kidding. I would never do anything drastic about it. I mean, unless we were in, like, a really serious, actual dystopian. We're in a kind of dystopian situation, but you know what I mean, like a post-apocalyptic kind of situation. I have enough health problems where if we were in a post-apocalyptic kind of situation, I would not survive anyway. So, in that situation, I might do something drastic. But right now, I'm not planning on anything like that. I would never. That doesn't cross my mind. Would I care? Would it bother me if I didn't wake up tomorrow? No, not really. But again, that's because I don't think there is anything after we die. So it wouldn't bother me because I wouldn't exist anymore to care. So yeah. But yeah, I just, never thought I would get this far. I've never been one of those I would love to live forever kind of people. And maybe it's because I've had, like, chronic pain and chronic illnesses for a lot of my life, where I'm just like, why would anyone want this to go on forever? It's probably very different, I guess, if you don't suffer from chronic pain and chronic illness. It's probably different. There's probably more of a reason to want to keep going. But the idea of chronic pain forever just kind of sucks. I wouldn't want that. If I could live forever in a different form, maybe that would be okay. But I don't want to live forever in this form, so, if there is a such thing as, like, reincarnation or something like that, I wouldn't be opposed to that. As long as I can be in a different form that's better than this one, that would be great. I wouldn't mind, like, being a tree. That would be cool. So, yeah, why not? Unless it's a tree that's gonna get chopped down right away. That would suck. But, you know what I mean. I would not mind living forever as a tree. I think that would be kind of cool. But yeah, not in this body, for sure. Don't want to live in this body forever. But yeah, again, I often wonder if that makes me weird, because there are so many, like, stories, fictional stories, for example, but also, like, real life stories about people trying to live forever and things like that. And I'm just like, are they the weird one, or am I the weird one? Am I weird for not wanting to live forever and not caring if I leave a legacy or not? Am I weird? Please tell me in the comments. And also, tell me in the comments if you are interested in doing so. If you care about leaving a legacy, or if you would like to live forever if that were possible. Let me know in the comments. I am curious if I am weird. I am curious if I am the weird one. I am totally fine being the weird one. But, yeah, I am just curious. I realize this has been pretty repetitive, and I apologize for that. That would probably happen less if I scripted my stuff. But also, I don't think it would be as authentic if I scripted my stuff. I like coming into it with just an idea of something to talk about, and then going from there. I also think I discover more about myself if I do it that way. So, you know, I kind of like that a little more. If I'm writing it out as a script, then I censor things a lot more. And it doesn't feel as authentic, and I don't like that. I mean, I don't know why. It doesn't really matter to me. I never started doing this as, like, a way of building a community or anything like that. I'm not very good at marketing myself, so I kind of knew, like, that was never gonna happen. So I don't know why authenticity matters to me so much, other than the fact that authenticity just generally matters to me. Generally in life, the idea of authenticity matters to me. I would never want to be fake in these recordings for any reason. So I would never want to be fake just to get people to listen or get people to engage or whatever. But I would like it if you would engage if you feel like it. I'm not gonna be mad about that or anything like that, so... Please comment if you have something to share, but, you know, I, again, am not gonna force it. But yeah, this has been rambly, but also kind of existential. I am interested in these kinds of topics, and I'm interested in seeing what other people think. And yeah, this has been my Ria Com. Rambling and getting existential about the future, TM. I need to stop doing that. It's not very funny. I will chat at you again soon. Bye.